So I've got an idea for a book you could write. What classic movie monster haven't we done?
King Kong.
King Kong is not one of the movie monsters.
Oh, as in like
monsters,
Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, werewolf.
WERETEENs! Or actually, it'll just be called WERETEEN. Okay, so there's a teacher named Mr. Thorgrew.
Yeah.
There's a group of 3 girls who are best friends. They call themselves the BFFs. Best friends forever.
We are aware of what BFF
So
stands
there's
for. Yeah.
Jenny,
Yeah.
Penny,
Yeah.
and
Why don't you go Jenny B, Jenny T, and Penny? You know how you always have...
oh yeah. Okay, so they're best friends. So Penny is slightly older than the others, and she is like the more I want to just grow up already kind of one.
Mm-hmm.
So they're happy playing handball,
Yeah.
and pog in the they're happy playing in the schoolyard, but
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I just want to grow up and be a teen.
That's exactly how they phrase it as well. I want to grow up and be a teen.
So she has an older sister who's like 17 or something.
Yeah.
So she starts to kind of, get a little bit, oh, I don't want to play handball anymore, or colouring in's for little girls, I'm into, big girl stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen this, right?
I've seen it.
One day, her discontent about not being a teen reaches fever pitch. Goes into her sister's room, who's out of town. Heads on in there, is rummaging around looking for some cool, I don't know, teen magazine to look at or something. Finds an amulet.
Sure, why not?
Basically, it has the power of the teen. She doesn't realise at the time, but that night, because she's touched the amulet, the full moon, guess what happens?
She becomes a werewolf.
She becomes a teen. It's
Wait.
not teen wolf, it's were-teen. When the moon comes out, she suddenly grows and gets bigger and, changes, and she's a 16-year-old teen.
Okay.
And she can do everything she always wanted. She goes to parties, she drives a Lamborghini, she does it all.
Where does she get the Lamborghini?
You can figure that out. So, she has this great night. When the sun comes up, she goes back into being normal Penny. Next day, she goes to school, she says, you never guess what happened. I found this amulet, I touched it, I got the power of the teen. And they're like, ugh. They don't really believe her, and they think it's really dumb. And like, can't we just play handball? So it drives more of a wedge between the group.
Yeah.
Next full moon comes around, grabs the amulet, has a wild night of teen partying. Her grades are suffering. She's, losing all her friends because she's just going, she's...
Why are her grades suffering?
Because she's out all night.
But isn't it only once per lunar cycle?
Well, yeah, but she's just lost interest in being 10, right?
Yeah.
So now she's just obsessed with teen stuff.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about school.
Yeah.
She wants to do trigonometry instead of fractions.
Part of becoming a teen is she has a yearning for year 10 maths instead of year 5 maths.
I don't know, you can work all the details.
Okay.
One day, this is maybe chapter 7 or so, she comes into school, she sits down, they're like, we've just drawn up this new hopscotch, do you want to play? And she's like, nah, I don't care about hopscotch, I'm a teen. And then a teacher walks past, Mr. Thorgrew, and he's like, did you see the latest story in the newspaper of scientific interest, girls? There's going to be a lunar eclipse for a whole year.
That is of scientific interest.
There's going to be this full moon eclipse for a year. The Earth will be plunged into darkness. And she is going to be stuck as a teen.
I assume we're not getting into the science of what.
No!
Just go with it.
Just go with it.
It's going to be a full moon for a year. Got it. Surely, if there's an amulet that can make you a were-teen, there's a bigger amulet that can stop the moon.
Yeah. So, the big day comes, the eclipse happens, she becomes a teen, she just disappears into the underworld of teens.
Can I get you to write the chapters where she's doing teen stuff? Because I want to know what this underworld of teens is that you're visualizing.
It's just like wall-to-wall Bolivia Rodriguez. The 2 Jennies.
Yeah.
Realise she's disappeared. Go to Penny's house and they talk to the parents and the sister and like...
How come the older sister's not in the teen underworld?
The older sister's a real teen.
Yeah.
But she's gone through the crazy teen phase. She's an older teen.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's become like this weird, almost druidic kind of keeper of teen knowledge. So that's why she has the amulet. There's one in every book. That character. The keeper of...
What are you talking about? The teen character in every teen book.
The one who's a bit bookish and outside the mainstream and actually knows all the stuff. She's like, there's this amulet. So that's probably what happened. And now she's stuck a teen forever. Or until the eclipse thing figures itself out.
And we don't know when that's going to happen?
The scientists are just gone, it's just on pause.
Are the scientists looking into that?
Yeah, but
that's
you
just
can't.
that's not our
how
story.
do you make the moon move again? I mean, what are you going to do?
It's just interesting that in a book where the moon mysteriously stops, none of the characters are concerned with that bit.
You're missing the point. It's just a plot device.
Isn't it going to mess up all those teen beach parties in the teen underworld when the tides are all screwed because the moon's not moving?
And then the two Jennies like, well, is there any way to counteract the amulet? So she gets out this big book of forgotten teen lore. And they're looking through it and they have to translate.
I like
from,
how you
ancient teens speak.
Ancient teens speak.
Teens at Stonehenge wrote it.
Didn't the concept of the teenager really only come in the 50s? Teenage druids in the 50s.
No, what about this? The youth culture revolution of the 50s was this. Yes, so there's these teen druids. They're a secret society stretching back to Stonehenge.
Yeah.
They were undercover.
Yeah.
Like the Rosicrucians. Until the 50s,
yeah.
when they decided to go public. Convinced Elvis to get in on it. He kind of pushed it through. Chuck Berry was one.
What's the point of the secret society?
Well, how much fun is it being a teen? Now, this sister, she's either in the society or she's on the periphery of the society, so she's got access to the amulet. This just writes itself now. That's why she has the amulet.
No idea what's going on.
That's why she has the book. She reads the book and she's like, the amulet that turns you into a teen can only be reversed. The WERETEEN can only be brought low by. The curse can only be lifted by.
It seems like they could have saved a couple of pages there, but go ahead.
The silver phone. If a wolf,
A WERETEEN
uses a silver phone, the silver touching their head will break the spell.
What did they do in the 50s?
They had phones then.
What did they do in the Stonehenge times?
They updated it. It used to be a silver conch shell.
Will the conch still work?
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but how are you going to get a modern teen to put a shell on their head? Thankfully, Jenny T's dad is a silversmith.
That's lucky.
We'll mention it in
We'll
chapter
lay it
1,
in,
and
yeah,
everyone will
yeah,
be like, oh, it's so useful. They go to him and like, can you make an iPhone? It looks like an iPhone, but it's made of silver. Then, for a couple of chapters, it's like this quest where they dive into the teen underworld to find her.
Wait, is the teen underworld? I thought you were speaking like metaphorically. There's like a whole teen, like she's down in some caves or something.
No. She's just at beach parties, behind the demountables. Like, she's just out of sight in the underworld.
Yeah.
So, they dive in, they try and get into these teen spaces, and then finally, at a beach party, they see her.
Trying to surf, can't do it.
The first Jenny goes up and tries to talk to her. You gotta come home, this is not who you are. Slaps her in the face. You gotta remember, she's not actually a teen.
No, I know, but like
body
I
of
think
a
all
teen.
of her friends are gonna be like, that's not cool. You can't just hit a kid.
I don't know, they're like really bad teens. So the second Jenny's like, okay, just going straight and trying to convince her won't work. So she sneaks up, gets out the silver phone.
Swaps them over.
Yeah. And then right when she's about to start crawling away, the phone rings. Penny comes up to Jenny and she says, give me my phone. She's about to slap her in the head too. And then the other Jenny...
slapping in this one.
Just when you think it's all about to just die, the other Jenny runs in, picks up the silver phone, dives, presses it against her head.
Why didn't they just do that in the first place?
And then the silver phone touches her head, so she turns back into a 10-year-old. All the other teens are like, what? This is not cool. Penny is so ashamed, they all just run off together. And they're running across the dunes, fireworks are going off.
Yeah.
And the other two Jennies are like, oh, well, look, we saved her, but she's going to hate us forever. Anyway, they finish running, they find a safe space, and they sit down, and Penny goes, thank you, I missed being 10. So, you think being a teen's better, but someone who went in and came out the other side can tell you, your readers, actually, being 10, enjoy it while you can.
So
being
rather than watching our main character go on the journey of discovering why it's not so bad being 10 and why being a teenager is difficult, we're just going to have someone push a phone to her head and the last line of the book will be like, oh, by the way,
Chris,
being 10.
Chris, sometimes you overthink stories. You don't need all that. All you need is an amulet, an old book,
And a silver phone.
and a silver phone. WERETEEN.